Hi guys, and welcome to Books2Africa. My name is Tonsin, and I'm the Director of Operations at Books2Africa, and I'm here with Prince, who is one of our volunteer interns as well. Today we're just hanging out here at the warehouse of Books2Africa in the UK, and we want to talk a little bit about volunteering with Books2Africa and how to get involved in volunteering, why you should be volunteering, what benefits there is to those who volunteer with us. What we're about, and essentially what we do on a day-to-day basis, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So anyway, Prince, yeah, so how are you finding, you're one of our new or most recent volunteers. How are you finding the experience so far?
I would just classify it as a learning process.
Yeah.
It's all fun and yeah, just get in there and have the most fun you can.
What do you think of, like, okay, first of all, right, there are a lot of charities out there.
Mm-hmm.
Very good charities. Every charity, is a good cause, I guess. What makes Books2Africa unique in your view?
Books2Africa, to me, it's something. I mean, every charity, there's something that stands out to the individual. It's relative. To me, it's something which I'm passionate about because I would say I've had the opportunity or the privilege, I would say, to be educated to some extent.
Right.
So I understand what it feels like not to be educated and lacking the materials needed to equip you with such education.
Right.
So when I came across Books2Africa, I was like, wow, that's an interesting charity. And went deeper to find out what it actually does. And it's quite interesting that apart from educating people, it also, help the environment.
Of course.
Because
yeah, that's true. A lot of people don't realize that actually most of the books that people donate to us is books that would have ended up going to the landfill, going to harm the environment, But of course, these books are perfectly good books, right? I mean, most of the books we get are books that are worth quite a lot of money, and they're perfectly legible, and we end up shipping them to Africa to people who lack books, right? So. Yeah. I mean, but you're right. I mean, in terms of the education, I mean, do you think people take for granted sometimes that they have very good education, especially in countries like the UK or even in developed countries, in Asia or Europe, America, that they have a very good educational system?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. People do take that for granted because, it's the experience, when you have no clue about what's like to study without books or to study without educational materials, then you feel like it's everyone, has access to that. But unfortunately, that's not the case, like people who basically don't have these books or, access to the internet to actually equip themselves or get themselves well prepared for the educational journey they are currently in or have embarked in. But in the Western world, like for instance, we're in the UK, some people you see, get books and they don't even, how would I put it? They don't even appreciate the book. They finish with a course the first year, and I mean that book is relevant to them, and they say they chuck it away, or if they're moving house, they leave it in their apartment, and which I think is quite. It's quite disheartening to see that happening because in certain parts of the world, there are people who would cherish that book with their life.
Exactly, because I mean, when you give a child a book, when you put a book in somebody's hands in Africa, somebody who would normally not be able to afford that book. Some of the medical books we ship to Africa are ridiculously expensive. Yeah. You can't even find them in the market, And so for somebody to say, oh, I study in the UK, and when I'm going home, I'll just leave my book, and the cleaners will just take it and put it into the bin. I mean, it's a shame, isn't it?
Definitely,
I mean, they should really be donating. People should be aware that, they can do. Even if you don't donate it to Books2Africa, there's loads of good causes out there you can give your book to rather than kind of throw it away.
Definitely, I agree with you. Because, I mean, there are a lot of people who claim to have gone to school but are unable to understand, what it takes in that particular field of study because they've lacked the materials which are needed to help you progress, to strengthen you in that field. Yeah. It's just like, how do I put it? You're studying to be a medical doctor, but you do not have medical books.
Yeah. Exactly.
How is that
How is
possible?
that
I wouldn't even send my child or even my dog or wherever to a doctor who has access to no books, basically.
Yeah. Who is qualified but is not capable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who has the degree but doesn't have the know-how.
Expertise, yeah.
The expertise. And that's, I think, very important, because a lot of people are finishing school in Africa. They're not going to be able to read or write properly after they finish school. They won't be able to construct sentences. They won't be able to do the jobs for which they studied for. And for us, this is an emergency. This is a calamity. This is something that we cannot continue to fold our hands while, we are producing graduates in Africa who are, in a sense, half-baked graduates. In a sense, they're going to struggle after they finish to get jobs, which ultimately is why they're in school.
Yeah.
Why they have an education is to get a job in the end. So in terms of getting the job, again, this is slightly different, but how important do you think volunteering is to getting a job after maybe during your university days or during your studies, and how important is it to helping you end up getting that career that you aim for?
I would say volunteering, it is a very interesting opportunity, you see, because in this case, it's all a learning process. It's all a learning process, and in this phase, you get to meet people, you get to interact, it's just like getting into the working world, but just in between getting paid and leaving university.
Exactly.
You understand? So you're getting paid to do a job and leaving university. So you're just in between there. So you're getting the experience, like
what the working world will be like.
What it's like. So it helps you to narrow down, actually, I don't think I want to go into such line. I don't think this is what's for me. It helps you to narrow down your perspective about an area you would like to venture into.
That's very good. I think a lot of young people, maybe some of you guys watching, you're studying a degree or you're thinking about starting university and you're not sure what exactly you want to study. Maybe you've just picked a course that you think, this is, I'm going to make a lot of money when I study this. But volunteering allows you to work in to have experience in a work environment, to try different things. And of course, we have different, I'll ask you about the kind of things we do here in terms of everyday tasks. But that allows you to discover what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what you rather spend every day of your life doing, so you don't end up in a job where you end up regretting and saying, actually, I don't know, why did I study this? Because I don't actually enjoy doing this. So in terms of the different types of things that volunteers do at Books2Africa, what's your favorite task, or what's your favorite thing about, or what's your favorite role so far? What have you discovered about your skills and strengths?
I have discovered it's natural for me to network with people, I would say, because over the period of time I've been here, it's been like a family, yes, but I found it easier to basically network with people, to get to meet people, understand people, talk to people, communication, basically, I would say, improving my communication skills. It's something I've learned over this period I've been here. It's strengthened over the time, as well as the sorting part of the books, because sorting these books, I know that these books are, going to better a life somewhere. Most times, I would deviate a little bit. Most times, we depend on aids, depend on the money. We need aid from the US, we need aid from the UK, and all of that kind of stuff. Yes, aid it's not bad. Aid is good.
Helps.
It helps, but it's not just about the money, because sometimes this money end up in hands who are not capable of, deciding how
of administering the money.
Basically, but books, it's something which I know. I sought these books, and it would definitely have an impact in someone's life out there. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But sometimes this aid, you could give it off, and it's not going to better the life of someone.
It doesn't solve the problem in the long term.
Exactly. So we are looking for something that's sustainable. So sustainable development, basically.
Yeah.
That's what I think. My sorting and knowing that it will end up in the life of someone and better that life, it's something that gives me joy, a sense of fulfillment.
Definitely.
Because if you look at it, sometimes you might get aid from the UK, for instance. The aid, you get aids to
feed poor people.
To feed poor people, you get aids for health, to better people's health. And that kind of, but sometimes we need to understand that it's mostly about educating these people. For instance, if you look at hygiene, for instance, sending a book which deals with hygiene, which helps teach people about how to basically look after the environment and that
Personal
kind of stuff.
health.
It's something which in the long term, will be passed on from generation to generation. That knowledge will be passed on, basically.
Yeah.
Rather than sending the money off to someone to help them, sick people, basically.
Yeah.
Because if they understand the importance of well-being, the importance of sanitization, most diseases or illness in such rural areas would not be there in the first place. So these books will basically change your life, and that information will be passed on from generation to generation.
Yeah, so I mean, you're absolutely right. I think we have to value the quality of education that we get, and we have to do our best to make sure that everybody, regardless of where they live, also have access to quality education, quality educational materials. Anyway, guys, so listen, if you want to get involved with Books2Africa, we'll be more than happy to get you involved. If you live around the Canterbury, Kent area, and you want to volunteer here at our warehouse in Canterbury, you're more than welcome. Basically, what we do here is we sort all the donated books that are donated here. We check them. We make sure that they meet all the quality standards. We package them into boxes, and then we make sure we palletize them, getting them ready to ship to Africa. And as a volunteer, basically, that's what you'll be doing: scanning books, checking them on our website, and making sure that they're good to send. And then for those of you who even are abroad, if you're in China, Africa, wherever you may be, and you want to come for a 1-year volunteering program, just like Prince here, who has just come from Nigeria as well, on the 1-year program. So we can sponsor you on a visa to do a 1-year volunteering program with us as well. So do get in touch, check the links on this page, and contact us, to find out what you can do. I mean, there's a lot more than just sorting, of course.
Yeah, community engagement, London Book Fair and stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah. We went to the London Book Fair, for example, recently, and we have a lot of educational trips that we plan for people to go around the UK to also enhance their experience, while they're here for a year. So, guys, really, get in touch with us and get the skills you need. And, of course, we're more than happy to welcome you. Like Prince says, is a home, is a family. We're all like family here. And we're doing our best to make a difference in Africa and here in the UK as well. Definitely. So thanks for coming on board as well.
No,
yeah. Let's keep up the good work. And hopefully you'll join us.
Hopefully join us.
Every day, millions of good books are thrown away. Yet 50% of people who go to school in Africa will not be able to read or write properly because they have no books. Books2Africa collects donated books and send them to projects in Africa. You can donate your books, fund a container shipment to Africa, or become a dedicated sponsor. Please do not throw your books away. Go to www.books2africa.org to get involved. Thank you.